Every 100, you get one sale. On 1,000, you get and we love to be at $89 to $97 because the goal is if you send out 1,000 pieces, and if you can get your 1%, you just broke even and you acquired 10 buyers. And that you start building up your list, and then you can remill that list, and it's worth gold.
This is The Fighting Entrepreneur, the podcast dedicated to entrepreneurs looking to change the world. Learn how to start, build, and scale a business in today's highly competitive business environment. Here's your host, The Fighting Entrepreneur, Anik Singal.
What's up, you crazy fighting entrepreneurs? Guess who it is? Your favorite person in the whole wide world, back with yet another fight. That's right. Today is not going to be so much of a fight. Today, I'm bringing on a dear guest, a friend, a brilliant man who knows a lot about something I know nothing about, and that is direct mail. So it's going to be a consult episode where I'm going to have him consult me, and the topic is how to add an extra $100,000 a month to my business using direct mail. All right, now, here's the thing. That's a big number. And we have a lot of leads that come into our company already. So it's probably not going to be that hard for him to do this for me. Wait till the end, because at the end of this, what I'm going to do is turn the question to him and say, okay, what about the people that are just starting? They don't have the kind of lead flow Lurn has. What could they do with direct mail to make their first 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 grand? So it's going to be a really action-packed episode. And then, of course, I want to make sure I remind you, come on, you got to hit subscribe. If you're on YouTube right now, you got to hit that little thumbs up icon, the like icon. You got to leave me a comment. You got to leave our guest a comment. There's other things you can do too. Hit the bell icon so that you get alerted when we release these episodes. If you see something, click it, all right? So that YouTube just knows you love us. And if you're on any of the other podcast platforms, make sure you've left us a review. Make sure you've listened and binged all of our episodes. Hey, look, unlike Netflix, we're free. Go to anikpodcast.com, and I bet you will actually learn something and make a ton of money from it, all right? So that's what you're going to binge this weekend, anikpodcast.com. Last but not least, Lurn, Lurn.com. Almost at 500,000 members. You're going to be a part of this revolution or not? Otherwise, we're going to go right by you. Listen, entrepreneurs are what's going to change the world, not the government. Do I have to are you watching what's going on? So it's up to us. So we got to stick together. Lurn.com. It's free to join. Go do it right now. Okay. Without further ado, I want to introduce to you guys Ryan Allaire, who is turned into a good friend. We've probably known of each other, been in each other's circumference, but then we actually met, I guess, almost about a year ago now, Ryan. Gosh, time flies, huh? Right. The last event before the pandemic. It was literally days before. I know, it was insane. So it was exactly 5 days after that event ended, we shut the Lurn Center down, and we're still shut down. I just come in here to film. And I watched your presentation on stage, and, I was in and out because I'm running the event, but I remember on 3 different occasions messaging my team saying, we need to do whatever he's up there doing. And we just have had so many opportunities and so much going on that it's taken me a year to get to a place where I'm like, all right, you know what? We can do this now. Like, we've got the team that's ready. We've got the bandwidth, and we've got the most amazing back-end program that we're selling that students love. So long story short, I want to come today, and I want to be lazy. So I don't want to watch the presentation again. I just want you to tell me what to do, and then I want everyone else listening to copy and paste it and follow Ryan's advice. And towards the end, we'll let you know how to follow Ryan as well and get a hold of him. But Ryan, thanks so much for being here, man. I do have to have you take the oath. So if you don't mind raising your right hand and repeating after me. I, Ryan Allaire.
I, Ryan Allaire.
Do solemnly swear.
Do solemnly swear.
To tell the truth and nothing but the truth.
Tell the truth and nothing but the truth.
And help Anik make an extra $100,000 a month.
And help Anik make an extra $1 million a month.
Whoa, I like it. All right. God, I kind of felt like I was swearing you in to be president, but geez, it's very very timely. For those of you listening to this, I'm filming it right as the inauguration happened. So, but you might be listening to it, we might be releasing it a few months from now. But anyways, Ryan, dude, tell me a little bit about yourself, a few minutes. What have you done with direct mail, right? Like, what kinds of results? Give the people listening, here, let me explain what I want you to answer. we're so used to the internet. We're so used to Facebook ads, Google ads, YouTube ads, and it's just like this instant world of digital marketing. And then in comes Ryan, is like, hey guys, direct mail still works. And everyone's like, get out of here. Direct mail is dead. But you're sitting quietly behind the scenes, laughing it all the way to the bank. So tell us a little bit about direct mail, you, and just what you guys do.
The funny story, I started out when I was 14 years old, and like anything else, found a mentor, right? I was able to work in the mail shop. So literally I would sit there and there was, letters just like this one right here. I would use 3 folds, put them in an envelope, put the label on it, put the stamp on it. So I, started from learning the process by being an employee. And, I just, when years went on, I started to go ahead and learn more in the company, build my way up. And cool part is that's when I started to connect with people like yourself, Mike, feel same, right? And what we did was we were doing this direct mail process, but those same leads, same buyers we're attracting offline, we're able to email as well. So really it was kind of both, and this was back in the, early 2000s. And fast forward today, we use direct mail a lot different than what we're doing then. The funny thing is a lot of people say direct mail doesn't work. I think you and I had a conversation. We were like, Ryan, I was doing my, physical book and it was costing a ton of money because it was, leaving US going to Asia and, we'd spend so much money on it and it'd come back and people would have those experiences, right? Where they just couldn't make it work. And really what we do is I call it, our direct mail 2.0, where we're doing multiple touch points, and direct mail is really a touch point, right? And we call it, doing less to produce more. And it sounds kind of cheesy, right? Okay, Ryan, you're saying I'm a millionaire overnight? No, I'm not saying it's doing nothing, right? L.E.S.S is an acronym, L, lead source. And you have an advantage. You have a huge advantage because you've been acquiring buyers for, better decade or two. A lot of people aren't in your shoes. So we can talk about getting lead sources without, having a following, without having existing buyers. So we talk about that. But lead source is the first thing. Then you have your envelope structure. And, a lot of our envelopes, there's multiple ways they look, and I'll show you guys some samples. Here's, our like famous one. That's our winner. I'll break this down in a bit, but the E is envelope structure. Then the first S in the L.E.S.S acronym is your sales piece, sales letter. And really that is, the same foundation we use for everything. And I'll talk about that in a minute too. And then the last part is the selling process and what you do on the back end. Because like you said, you have a really good back end, higher ticket funnel. And that's the key, right? Anik, so many times people came to me and they said, Ryan, I want to make direct mail work. And they're selling something that's $19.95 and they have an upsell for $10. And I'm like, listen, it's hard to really get a high converting campaign when you're working on minute or smaller numbers. Now, sure, you can dial that in with Facebook ads, YouTube, and we have friends that do that. But you can also have it work in direct mail. I'll talk more about that in a second. But really, when you have a good, that's the last S, the selling process, you have a good back end and selling process. That's what makes the direct mail work like magic. And I might have was talking foreign to some people, right? Like, I never use direct mail. I don't know what that means. So if that's you, just to start from the very, beginning, basically direct mail for us is a...
Hey, Ryan, can I interrupt you real quick? Because I'm actually taking notes, by the way. If you see me writing, I'm taking notes. I want to let everyone know that if you're listening to this on audio, there are going to be times where Ryan will show something. He might show us an example of a direct mail piece or whatever. Just head over to YouTube, type in Anik Singal, and go find his interview with me, and you can see it. L.E.S.S. L was lead source. E was the envelope
structure.
Envelope structure. And then S was the sales letter or the sales piece. And then the selling process.
Yes, on the back end.
All right, got it. So everyone, that was a 4-step process that we're going to be basically deploying. I guess I'm just going to reverse dissect right into that when we do the consult. But okay, go. Take it away.
So, it's kind of funny because what we use direct mail for is a touch point, right? And that's the big thing. People say, oh, again, Ryan, I didn't make it work. This is what I did. And it kind of looks, maybe a little cheesy, right? Or a little, I don't want to throw stones and say I have all the secrets with direct mail, but I see some people's direct mail piece and just by looking at it, I said, well, I can see why it didn't work, right? But the biggest thing is having the segmented list. So the lead source, the very first L, to the people that are receiving this, because we just don't want to send, mail to everyone, right? I have a 6 million person buyer file. Let's mail them all. And as exciting as that sounds, and I would love to hear that, and I have a client that's in those shoes. What we're doing is we're engaging with those people online, and we have different touch points. In the direct mail world, we call these pearls, right? They're pretty much touch points. And the most hyperactive fans and buyers, people that are spending money, are the ones we want to engage with. And it's kind of funny because I've been working on some stuff for Anik behind the scenes, and we, unfortunately had to cancel this due to some tech issues, and I've been holding on to this stuff. But Anik, for you guys, right, what we do in our touch points is maybe we do posters, or maybe we go ahead and, to a segmented buyer. So let's backtrack. I know you sell books on your front end for, a couple of bucks to $10, and they can do digital downloads. They get free stuff. So those hyperactive people that are in your group, I would send them something like a poster, right? That says Anik's $120 million secret. And I know you have 5 steps, right? Yeah. And you go ahead and break it down, right? You have your step 1, the intro, right? You have the step 2, the story, the step 3, the content, right? These are all the 5 steps you talk about in that process. And what this becomes is you can spend money, or you can't spend money on a Facebook ad, YouTube ad, a digital ad, that this becomes a piece of real estate in someone's home. You have a client filling this out. They're looking at Anik's name, Lurn, right? And Tony Robbins actually talks about this in one of his, current podcasts, and he was saying how these touch points are tremendous today, meaning that he did a study with Stanford back in the day, and it was under 10 touch points, 6, 8 touch points for people to purchase when he did this in the 90s. Today, we have our cell phones, right? We have maybe multiple cell phones. We have Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Clubhouse, right? You have a new platform of the week coming out. People are busy, right? They're getting emails, text messages. So what the cool part is this is a piece of advertisement you can do that you could hang in someone's home. They fill out, right? It becomes a part, and they walk through it. And I don't know if you remember, Anik, you got those Oreos, right? And I had friends that said, oh my gosh, every time I walked in my office, I thought of you, and I'm holy cow, these Oreos are staring at me, they're red. And that's the point, right? It's that touch point that you can go ahead and do. So a good direct mail piece, right, would have that in play. And I'll send all this stuff to you, Anik, so you can kind of dissect it. I have a few goodies to share today. And if you guys are actually listening on the podcast, I was just showing Anik a poster that basically goes through his 5 steps. He goes through this on his training, and basically walks them down on the process he used to do over 120 million in direct.
So Ryan, let's get a little specific so that your whatever you're telling me can be very tailored. Books is not something we're doing a lot of right now. Actually, funny you mention that because I'm working on one right now. Hopefully April is when it will launch. Our top selling offer right now is a program that we have called Email Startup Incubator. We sell 30 to 50 a day. And this program is, you can do the payment plan, or you can do the full pay. So it's like $397 or $997. But the person coming in right from the get-go is spending at least a few $100 to engage with the system. That is the one that we're, like I said, right now, if I went back and pulled a file, we're selling a ton of them every single month. We also have a program that sells very well to those students. It's a more intense annual coaching, hands-on community with just showing people how to just take that to the next level, what they're learning in that program. And that's a 9K program. So those are...
I'm sorry about that. So the email incubator, how much is that to get going?
$1,000, but you can do payment plan, but it's $1,000.
So, and then how do people come into that? Just through your book offers, or just through all?
No, not book offers. So straight, it's, that's why I want to make sure we're not doing much of books right now. We will in April. Facebook, YouTube ads, straight to webinar we promote,
So what I would do is, do you have physical addresses with these people that are
yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, and so you can see how so what I would do if I were you is I would do a multiple date follow-up sequence that would be sent to them in postcard. And I have some samples in here. It's not relevant, right? Because it's, this is on the book, the email edge, but let's say if the email incubator, right? You can see the foundation's all the same, right? So you can swap out the product. I can show you examples we have with the travel industry. Funny, a campaign we did with Paula Abdul, right? Info products, e-com. So, the product in our opinion is kind of secondary. It's the process, the foundation. So you could swap this out with, any product. So what I would do though is I would go ahead and highlight the benefits, highlight the success stories. So what they're doing again is this is a touch point, right? And I would even challenge to maybe make like a 2-step, whatever you're helping them with, or not a 2-step, but an X step on this incubator program's helping you do X, Y, Z. And here's some cards that can go with that, right? So they almost become like collectible, or not collectible, but resources. And that's what I would do is the postcard is now a touch point that is, sinking into the Facebook ads, the emails they're receiving, because what we see and how this works is, again, it's a multi-touch approach. So if you're doing SMS, Facebook Messenger, email, you want to continue doing that. We're not saying just do direct mail and abandon that. But what this does, this complements that. And so what we do is we're very crystal clear and very specific. So if you're, Facebook ad structured one way, we want to mimic that in the direct mail piece. And what we do is in our direct mail piece, we'll do fun coupon codes, or we'll do fun, things in the direct mail piece just to get them to take action, saying, hey, you're not going to see this anywhere else. And, we really do stick behind that, but we're like, you're, a hyper engaged person. We see you in our community, and I'm sure you can pull your data, right, on if you're using Infusionsoft and see these people. But those are the segmented lists that we attract to then they get, your communication via direct mail on top of everything else that you have going on. And that's where we make it really successful. And the funny thing is we did this with one of our SaaS products, a software product that basically it's in the affiliate marketing realm. They could help them, build the little funnel. And long story short, the point of that is we had a booklet that went out with that. It was a $39 offer, and the back end sold an offer for $500 to $3,000. And the funny thing is the take rate with that special approval code in that booklet, it was like 15%, which again, on those numbers, we sent out 1,000 of them, right? And it cost us, $1 for each one. And we made, All
right. Can I backtrack a little bit? Because one of the things is, man, you're super smart in this. So I glazed over at some point halfway through that. You said multiple postcards and my brain just went in a different direction. I went into a operational nightmare and a cost center, and I got stuck at that. So more than the cost, I got scared of operationally managing this going out. So here's how I thought of it, and I genuinely thought, and this is probably why people do it wrong. I thought, hey, customer buys, I send out a little surprise package, never mentioned, they don't expect it. Maybe it's got some resources in there. But I thought one package, one thing that goes out, and on top of that laying there is like a letter from me, and it encourages them to call such and such number, go to such and such website and book a time to talk to us because we've got even more goodies. And then if they start going through the material in the box, that kind of pushes towards the call as well, which on that call, then we're able to promote to them our $9,000 coaching program. At a very, very high level, maybe not at the intricate level, but did I kind of get that?
I jumped the gun because you're right. Okay. And, I actually had an example for you with that. Okay. Because this, you're right. So this is an example, right? Because we've used bottles in the past, and I can show some other examples. If you're listening, I have this bottle in my hand. This is actually the sample it came from. So I can show Anik, but basically we use the bottle. And we pay, like 65 cents for these in mass quantities. This one's even cheaper, but this has a personalized message. And I'll tell Anik, I'll use a bottle that says, escape with Anik, because, I saw you doing something.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And are you lost, right? So it's kind of fun, play on, right? And it's just getting that going. And then here's the letter that runs with that, right? And again, you're right. So this is what we go ahead and we would do from the get-go. So I jumped the gun, and that's kind of the follow-up process to the people that are hyperactive, engaging, and going through those next steps. But you're right. So the very first touch point after they, get into the funnel is a fun, we call it like a shock and awe package, right? It's a fun, like, oh, wow, this is interesting, right? This is something. I think you and I went through some examples last time where I had a client of mine send a coconut. Right. And he was doing a mastermind in Mexico, and to 115 people, you guys can't see this, but there's a coconut right here that he got for like $3 or $4. You put your shipping label right on it. So again, what this direct mail piece does is it's a 100% open rate, right? Did you open up those Oreos I sent you? Of course, because you're like, what the heck is this, right? So when you put this in a package, it's going to be like, lumpy, and it's going to be like, what is this? This is a product from Amazon. Is it something that, and that's why these have such cool success rates, is because it's approaching it at a different angle, right? It's not the typical webinar and email. And the funny thing is we actually use this process to push them. So we'll also send a USB with it. And what we do is they just, would go ahead and watch basically a webinar that, is plug it in, you have a personalized message on the video and jump into your sales presentation. So we even, do that tactic, but the whole point is just approaching it at a different angle, right? It's a different touch point to create that fun experience that, when we have many different examples on different clients. This was a travel product client that we were doing a thing with. So, he's bringing people in. Crazy story. Of the fact is he had 18 people come in. So we did the math on it, and, it was like a $80,000 campaign from approaching 120 people. Wow. We've sent out 2,500 packages that cost us, $4,000 or $5,000. And
all right, so let's take it back one step. So for example, for me, let's say that we like to consider it $1,000 buyer, even if they've paid the payment plan. What's the ballpark budget you would say? I know there's infinite options of a package we could send to the customer. So question number one is, right off the top of your gut, is it a $5, $10, $50? Where are you per customer?
Our sweet spot, good question, is between $49 and $97, and we play with that around those price points. Just because, again, we've done the $10 stuff, and sure, you attract a ton of people, right?
No, sorry, you misunderstood my question. So I'm talking about the cost of the gift I'm sending to my buyers. I'm already getting buyers at their $1,000 buyers, so that's established. What should be the budget per package I send to them?
So what we like to do is between the 5 to 10% range. So if you're a $1,000 buyer, you can spend $30, $40, $50 up towards $100. What's funny is actually Perry mentioned this at your event last we were together, and he said his survival people, when they reach 6-month mark, they get a set of steak knives. And remember when John's like, oh, I get a $2,000 customer. How much more should I charge before I send them something? And then Perry, being direct Perry, he's like, you cheap SOB. And everyone laughed. And he's like, send them something right away, right? They spent $2,000. He's like, well, why don't you send them something immediately? So anyways, the cool thing is that's a nice, but so you're talking $50 on the high end, you could do something really cool, right, for these people. And I think the recommendation for him was one of those gimbals, because he's in the YouTube space. So you put the gimbal. So you could think of some fun things, right? You can do a fun little shock and awe package. You could do one of our clients does like this entire like entrepreneur kit, and it's a mouse pad, USB. It's all customized, like the pen, the booklet. It's like literally really cool. And the cool part is it walks him through the steps to get to the next level. And you said it's a $9,000 offer that's after this. Yeah. So the cool part is your kit that's all really fun and laid out is actually bringing them to the next level. And it's the USBs correlating with your presentation, maybe if it's webinars or like your events that you're doing. The booklet, is correlating with it. If I was at my office with the whole pandemic, we're like you guys, we have just minimal people working fulfillment, and over where I'm at my home office, I could show you these actually kits, because we do fulfillment for a bunch of our peers in the industry that does some similar stuff. To backtrack, I was going to say $1,000 is a really, really awesome buyer. The buyers level, just to kind of backtrack what I was talking about, that people are sending these direct mail kits to and starting this process through are between, $97, upwards towards 150. The one we're working with now is a $500 buyer, and we're seeing huge numbers. So what we've realized is the more segmented the list, the more, premium, so to speak, the buyer at $1,000. This works like hotcakes, because they're already, serious, they're engaging. They've already jumped a lot of hurdles to get to the $1,000 point. So I see it being a huge asset for you guys.
Got it. So let's say my budget is $40. We'll pick right in the middle, 30 to 50. If I'm saying, hey, out the door, I want to spend $40 per person, about how much of that will be shipping? Because I'm coming to the whole international issue is a question of mine as well. So how do you, like, if I were to sit down with you and say, hey, I want to put all this stuff in the box, but you end up getting a $40 box or whatever, and I'm like, well, then shipping's on top of that. So 40 is my full budget.
So great question, man. Awesome question. So this one exact package I was talking about that has the mouse pad, the USB that comes in like a hardback silver case. The whole kit and caboodle is $17.50, and that's a pretty robust. It's like we have the binded type booklets. Here's an example that we use, but even a better example is right here. So these are like the full. What we do is we do full color on the covers, and then we'll do black and white on the inside. That's your cheapest cost. So you add a couple dollars for these booklets. Then the USB, I think, is like a few extra bucks. And those come preloaded, right? So you're saying logistical, and I'll talk about that after this, but the logistical nightmare, it can actually be solved pretty easily. But to answer your first question is the shipping. So we do flat rate envelopes on 2 different levels. You can ship anywhere in the US on a flat rate package envelope for $7.80. They have a bigger one that's like $8.50, and then they have even a larger box that's like $9.50. You can literally go from New York to Hawaii, or California to Florida. Like that's anywhere in the 50 states. Now, what I suggest is if you're doing a lot of international stuff, we have a partnership with a company based out of London, and then they're kind of same thing. They have flat rate opportunities to ship within the UK, and then they have I think they call it the e-packet, from getting it to Asia to the US and the whole e-com world back when people were doing drop shipping. So they have similar things like that. It's not quite the same exact thing, but basically it saves on shipping, because you're right, you will get beat up on shipping costs if you're shipping from anywhere in the US overseas. So, and getting it there in a reasonable time, right, is the big thing. That's how we would do it. That's how we do it, is we have 2 different Millhouse / fulfillment centers. We do partial of it in my office. We have another Millhouse that we use, and then in the US, then we have one in the UK.
The UK one handles all other countries, or you said e-packets?
Well, actually, we do. It depends, but yeah, they do all other. They even jumps it over to Asia if need be.
What about like because I get a lot of customers. I mean, ours are all over the map. So we're going to get customers, Australia, we get New Zealand, we got Canada, we got all over Europe, Asia as well.
And so funny. So my buddy, he's out of Sydney, and he does a lot of direct mail or real estate events, and we've done a tactic with him. So what you can do is you could literally Google, fulfillment center city. So, and here's the thing what we just do, just it sounds kind of, really not like too advanced, but we literally just zap it. So depending on the order and the country, goes to the different fulfillment house. So if it's US based, it stays right there. If it's overseas, it goes, a Zapier just brings it to the London, UK, and they see that daily orders, they fulfill it, they upload it with a tracking code, and then our staff just puts the tracking code. Actually, it just sends out an email automatically with hey, here's your tracking information. Be on the lookout for it. Cool. So that's how we do it. Obviously the big thing is depending on where your customer base is, will be customized for the fulfillment house. And I'll be honest, there's like some countries we're not really selling a lot in, but we do Australia. Again, we're not like, there's some like, I'm sure tropical areas that, it might be difficult to reach those people. But again, I guess it's just all basing it on those core fulfillment centers and seeing what they can do. And for them, it's pretty elementary. They just say, okay, what are you shipping? Where are you shipping it to? And they can kind of see their region that they have shipping.
Got it. What about so let's jump and do some numbers real quick. So let's say I send 100 of them out. Okay, 100 of them is going to cost me $4,000 sticking to the $40 total. And I mean, from what you're saying, I could probably even get that down to maybe $30 easily. But let's just say it's $4,000. 100 of them go out. Rough ballpark, of course. Offer matters, copy matters, sales process matters. What would you expect? Like how many of those do you think would turn into buying the next thing?
So our basic, conservative as ever is between 15, 14, upwards towards 20%. Now there's campaigns that we've hit 35, 40%, which are just bonkers. And again, they're not going straight to 9K. These have payment plans and they'll go, a couple $1,000, 5K. But again, so it just depends, like you said. There's a lot of factors in that. Is there someone that's jumping on the phone with these people once they get this? We've seen that helps tremendously, increase those numbers. Is it just really it's the selling process, right? The L.E.S. acronym. So we have lead source, right? We talked about the way we structure things, talk about how we, the sales pieces that we use and the ways we structure those. Selling process is the really biggest thing, really, in my opinion. Because what I've seen, the bottleneck for a lot of people that have had field direct mail campaigns has been not having the support on the back end, right? So they'll have a direct mail campaign, they'll send it out, they'll have traction, but then they can't, receive the one client, for example, was this precious metal client. They do precious metals, and it was literally her and her son that was in college that would help every so often. They literally just couldn't handle the appointments, the lead flow, and because the process went from their booklet to in their package to a phone consultation was how we had it set up, and so that was the bottleneck, right? They were missing sales left and right, and it was an issue. So again, I guess it's in this factor and all factors, it just depends on how your setup is. So do you guys go to the phone and have people that help with that, or is it?
We definitely have people on the phone that they can book a call. I've never tried selling direct, I've never tried sending a customer a direct mail piece, take them to a URL to get them to buy something for a few $1,000. So typically we would say, hey, if you're interested in learning more, go here and book a time with us. And then they'll get on with someone.
Yeah, so I'll do a quick breakdown, right? What's worked for us. So the same exact scenario we're talking about, right? We broke people down. They went through this book and then this book and a USB. So these were multiple things that they had to go through. Then at the very end of this process was to book a time and have a call with our team to see if it's a fit. And and we just did this campaign. It was $497 to receive our kit. And we're averaging, again, the 15, 18%. And there's even some things that we're not doing. Like we aren't doing like the SMS and the emails. We're getting emails pumped through well. But again, I know you probably do things way better than we're doing them with, I see your ads and the stuff you guys are doing. So, again.
What's your next package after the 497? What do you charge for the next one?
We have a 4997 5K deal.
5K deal. Roughly what so are you holding the 15% or so of your 497s are buying?
It depends on the lead flow. So there's some internal buyer files that we're hitting now with this, and it's converting better just because. So that's the biggest factor of it, right? Is also lead flow, because there's a couple segments of list that we're hitting, and we're hitting 30, 35% of people that are getting this taking the back end. And then there's some that are at the 14, 13, right? So, the thing that we do is we go at the data, right? We look at the data, and then the people that we see that are having success and the numbers are popping off. And this is where I wish I would have not started with. We start with the direct mail follow-up, the postcard campaigns to those people. So it's like, this is, hey, did you see this training or this, example, this case study, this success story. A lot of things that work well are the success stories. So we just leak out success stories in a direct mail campaign, but it's also meshing and, bringing them back to your people over the phone. Or also crazy story, we actually even have an opportunity for them to check out right then and there. And people have done that. They've literally, okay, 5K right then and there on their credit card.
So how much does that cost? So let's say, because as I'm listening to you, I'm kind of getting this idea, which is kind of neat, as just once a month actually getting into a rhythm of sending a postcard or something to them, which highlights a new success story that we've had at Lurn and invites them to come watch a video, book a call, a special message from Anik for the month of June or whatever. What does that cost?
On the two different ones we have. So, this is like your typical postcards, right? Here's examples we've done in the past. People can't see these, but these are your generic postcards if you're listening on the podcast. this letter right here cost me about 75 to 78 cents to send out, depending on the postage fluctuation, because we do this is a standard pre-sort postage, meaning it's not first class. First class is going to cost you 53 cents, right? Which is pretty expensive if you're sending out 1,000, 2,000 of these weekly. What we do is we do what's called a pre-sort first class. So what they do is they mark the price about 20% off. And, we actually have a really cool relationship with our meal house. So they can even work deals different times depending on the volumes, the stuff they're doing. But anyways, the pre-sort helps bring the cost down. And the only thing with this is it tacks on 2-3 extra days. So just to go ahead, your first class stamp's going to get this the quickest because it's a first class stamp, you're paying more. So right now with US Postal, you could get almost a first class stamped envelope anywhere in 3-4 days. The pre-sort's going to be between 5-7 days to get there. So this entire piece, you have your envelope, your postage, and you open this up. This right here is our, we love to really do letters just because, we actually prefer these over postcards. We should do some postcard follow-up campaigns. But the letter we love because this is 2 11 by 17 pieces of paper inside here, but it gives you 8 sides. So it gives you 8.5 by 11 sides. So again, with direct mail, it's all about saving money, right? And getting this down as cheap as possible. So they fold this, it's in half again, and it fits in the deal. But really, you're only charging us for 2 pieces of paper to be printed on. So this right here, again, is a couple more pennies. So when it's all said and done, to have an extra order form and a call to action slip with the piece, this is 8 pages. In the envelope, it's about 76 cents to.
Wow.
In this.
That's shipped. And that's domestic. What about international?
So same thing though. International, we go to these meal houses.
Have a different house.
Right,
okay.
Right. So, and again, the UK, you want to tack on 20%. So 15-20%, and depending on again the.
So I think for me, I got the ideas flowing. I've got 2 products that do really well that we're selling every day. They both, one already has a great program to the back of it. The other one's going to have one soon. And I think that what we need to do, step 1 would just be implement the thank you gift, which is just a welcome gift, right? Something, and it's so what, from what I heard from you, the ideal welcome gift I would put together would be, some fun stuff just to get them to open it, but also maybe it's like a little course. Maybe it's got some case studies in there and they're watching it and listening to it, and it has a natural progression to, hey, if you liked what you just heard, we can put you on an accelerated path. Book a call with us. Otherwise, we'll see you inside of, Email Startup Incubator. And so you're saying that people will consume that to the degree that maybe 10 to 15% who received it might even upgrade to the next level. Of course, payment plan, they're not going to go straight to 9K. Did I summarize that kind of correctly? Like that's kind of my first go.
This would be the perfect addition to that welcome kit. The poster, the booklet, the USB, maybe a cool pen, right, that has your branding on it, or Lurn, just so that's in their head. Because again, it all comes down to those touch points for us. So only way I could see, I always scratch my head, like, how the heck is this still working? But I think it's just that other way, that other angle that you can come across. And what's funny is
you're right, 100% open rate. You're absolutely right. There isn't a package that reaches my house or my office that I do not open. Not one package that I don't open.
Exactly right. That's the same. We're in the same boat. That's why the funny thing is, and the funny part is, right, is even if they don't buy the 9K deal, those people that get that stuff that we've seen all this are getting the next thing. Like, oh my gosh, that's right. He sent me this cool thing. And so when they see whatever the thing, if it's one of your Lurn, the funny part is you can even do it with an affiliate. So you can use one of your Lurn partners. Because I see you guys have a lot of awesome courses. You can start cross-selling that way. You send a direct mail piece and they're like, holy cow, that's right. This was awesome. I'm going to get XYZ, whatever whatever else you could help them with. So that's where we've seen this work, right? Is having segmented lists, doing the cross-selling, having a really laser-focused process on bringing people from that kit to those next steps on bringing them to that, back end offer, whatever it is.
No, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry.
But I'll say then the ones that, aren't jumping on that, that's where you flow, to the next offer or to the next thing that could help them, and maybe a downsell. And we'll actually, after a certain time, when you have your data, that's where you release the payment plan direct mail piece with the email, and you say, hey, we don't want you to miss out. And then by that point, you're like, oh my gosh, Anik's giving me all this stuff. This is really cool. And what we've seen is they consume it more is because, people want to try to get off the computer, get off some time. So when you have in physical format, they'll go through it and they're actually consuming your content, while not being on the internet or, on a digital device. People do like these detoxes and they'll actually consume the content on their digital detox because it's kind of funny, right? There's like a digital marketing course.
It's awesome. All right. So given where we have a few minutes, I would love to hog the rest of our time for myself. I'm going to swipe the slate clean now, as I promised to everyone watching, because for us, I will tell everybody, this is one of those, even if I have to go hire someone tomorrow full-time to just do this, I'm just leaving a lot of money on the table because we're picking up probably about 50 high-ticket buyers a day. That's not even including the low tickets. It's 50 high-ticket buyers a day that we never mail a thing to. I guarantee out of those 50, I can get 2 or 3 of them to convert to our higher ticket programs. So, you can start to imagine, you were right, probably $1 million a month to my business.
People that are doing the lower ticket stuff, don't send them a $40 package, send them a $2.
Yeah.
So it's like a little booklet, and so again, that's what we did with our $49 product. It was literally cost them $1, and the highest anywhere. We're actually sending this one via US because it was so cheap. We were sending to the UK, to all these different countries, up to $2-3 was the max. In the US, $1.20 anywhere in the US, which was a full color small booklet. It was this little sticker we gave, which says mail boss on it, and people were sending text messages and pictures of them putting it on their laptop. And anyways, so those little things that get them.
So Ryan, what can someone who right now doesn't have that kind of lead flow that I have, or that you have, or that anyone, and someone's sitting there right now, I want to make 10K using direct mail. I'm just curious, what would you say to them?
So again, the first thing I would do is finding a really good product that you're going to sell. So if you have a product, great. If not,
you could sell an affiliate product, like you said too, right?
Yeah, I know you have affiliate programs. So let's just say you could ask Anik, hey, how can I get your affiliate program stuff? And you can go down that rabbit hole.
We actually don't right now, so please don't ask me that. we actually took it down for a little bit. We'll be back soon, but yeah. So you can find other high ticket, more expensive, and you make 50% of those. Okay, so good product.
Yeah. So, and how people can find those, right? All the marketplaces. I'm not even going to quote any, but find a good product, or you can even build your own product. Is there a skill, something that you can contribute to? A lot of people have a lot of talent. I know you have a ton of people that come through your stuff that learn how to, become valuable in different marketplaces, if it's copywriting, whatever it is. So anyways, have a good product, the process we talked about, which is a good high ticket back end, which is a real good kicker. And almost every good affiliate program in our buddies sell has that in place, right? Yeah. It's part of the formula. Yeah. So where do we get leads, right? Let's go back to the doing less to produce more, right? Our lead source. I learned this working for my mentor, right? So I was 14 years old, broke, poor. My parents lived in motels. And I said, holy cow, how can I make money? I saw them rich. And I learned they were getting leads from this place called Macromart. Macromart's the name. They're still in business to this day.
Macro who?
Macromart, M-A-R-C, oh my gosh, I'm on the spot now. Shows you how Macro, M-A-R-C-R-O, Macromart, M-A-R-T. And then this right here is, we work with a few different list brokers, but what we do is they have these things called data cards, and it tells you who these buyers are. So if you're in the astrology niche, the financial niche, the, make money, the, you name it, they have lists for it. You go out there, they can show you. And the cool part is what we do is we try to roll segment the data. So we say, okay, who's selling? And this one product was actually a health MLM. It was a company that had this like skincare product. And then it said, they were, conservative, people that enjoy to have good skin, maybe, yada, yada, yada. And then it said, but also like to sell this as an affiliate. To me, a light bulb went off. Oh, so what we did was there was this one product that we knew that had an affiliate program. And we went to that list broker. We paid 12.5 cents per lead. And the broker charged you $50 for the list rental fee. So what we went ahead and did was we got, 1,000 names, for example, right? That's $125. And then we use our process. Right now we have the lead source, and I can go through all day on how to really segment that. But if you go to any list broker, Google direct mail list, right? You have Nextmart, you have all these data companies that are out there. The process is pretty much the same. They can get you the segmented data, but you want to segment the data, make sure it's people that are interested in what you're doing. And that's the big part of it. And then the next part is the envelope structure, right? And I already tore this one open, so it's a little messy if you're watching on YouTube. If you're listening, who cares, right? You can't see it. But the envelope is, what we do. Oh, I just dropped it. But I'm going to just describe it. We use handwritten font. Anik can see this. And it looks real personalized. So our goal, and I tested every which way to do this. We use labels on the front. We use labels with a return address. And what ended up, and the reason why we use this card format is because like the regular letters look like junk mail. So people throw them away, but we purposely make it look like a card coming in. And we'll even say, happy holidays when it's December. We'll say, Happy New Year was the last one that just we sent out. And they're like, oh, shoot, what is this? They open it up, and then that's where you have your mail piece, right? And I dropped the one I pulled out of here, but our mail piece is very straightforward, right? And actually, if you're following Anik, he's the brilliant copywriter. He actually has stuff for that. So join that. You can learn how to write a good sales letter. But you have your headline, your sub-headline. This was an e-com offer. So it said, how to enjoy a reliable, growing 10K monthly income, letting the world's largest and most trusted company do their hard work for you. So you can customize, your copy. And we have our, which is actually funny. It goes just straight through. You can actually follow your step-by-step guide here, right? Introduction, the story, which is a relationship. That's totally true. We follow that, right? We have a story because, that's what's the old saying, facts tell, stories sell, or whatever. Then you have the content, build value and credibility, then the transition, and then the pitch. So, you can maybe join.
So Ryan, if you bought 1,000 leads and put together, so this is for people that you don't do Facebook ads, you don't, YouTube ads or whatever. You could just literally go out and get people that are interested in that topic and send them a direct mail. Would you anticipate getting a sale off of 1,000? Like, what would be a good result for you?
So again, it all comes on a segmented lists. We offer 1% to 2% is where we operate at. That's our sweet spot, what we try to look at. So every 100, you get one sale. On 1,000, you get and we love to be at $89 to $97 because the goal is if you send out 1,000 pieces and if you can get your 1%, you just broke even and you acquired 10 buyers. And that you start building up your list, and then you can remail that list, and it's worth gold.
And that's a really important point because, guys, if you are going to be blind mailing people that don't know you, that didn't just spend $1,000 with you like they would have in my case, you don't want to sell them into a high ticket, sell them into a $49 to $100 product because that's an impulse purchase. If you get them to try to book a call and sell them a $9,000 program, it's going to be a lot harder. They have no idea who you are.
I had right here for that. Anyways, it's not here anymore, but it was a booklet kind of like this one. I'll show it, but it was just one booklet that was basic. What I did was I transcribed the webinar, and I transcribed it and put it right into the booklet. And they read it, and oh my gosh, this was the best book I ever read. And for actually an upcharge, we would send them a USB, which would give them the webinar on the. So the crazy part is think about charging people to just watch the webinar is what we're doing. And if it's enough content, it's enough value, you make it worth it, right? And so we go from there, right, to the next level, which is, hey, if you love this, right, then think about how you like this $1,000 offer. And if when Anik opens up his affiliate program, you guys stair-step them there. And then you jump, and then by then Anik has a cool package he's sending out, so you can be really lazy, and he'll take off he'll close the back end.
That's awesome, man. I love it, Ryan. We're super action-packed. I love this because it was strategic. It was, you gave exact sources to go to, places to go. Before we run out of time, please tell everyone who's listening how they can learn more from you. How can they follow you? Is there a webinar you have where you teach this? Where can they go? Like, how can they connect with you?
Thanks so much. Yeah, so you can go to either RyanAllaire.com that has all my social profiles, and we do some fun videos. We just post on Facebook, Instagram. It's the Ryan Allaire on Facebook and Instagram. And, we also have, it's called Mailbox Secrets that talks about this entire process. So mailboxsecrets.com is the website. And we, share exactly what I learned starting from 14 years old. And I talk about where the transition, has happened and all those years and where we're at today in this whole direct mail 2.0 phase. And yeah, it's been a blessing, man. It's been a really cool, the direct mail has literally opened up the doors to meet people like you and a lot of rock stars in the industry. And it's crazy when you think about it, all I'm doing is sending out mail, right? And pieces of
age old mail. That's awesome. Listen, man, it's been super powerful. Thank you very much, everyone. RyanAllaire.com. Go look him up on Facebook, YouTube, all those places. And Mailbox Secrets, is that what you said?
Yes, mailboxsecrets.com. Yes. Okay,
mailboxsecrets.com. Go check out everything he's got. I can tell you, it's really powerful stuff. We will be applying it at Lurn. It may have already started being applied by the time you're listening to this, or it's coming soon. And then I will publish my results later on. We'll have Ryan back and we'll talk about it. And we'll let him dissect what we did and rip it apart and we'll grow from there. So Ryan, thank you very much, my friend. And for the rest of you, come on now. Click subscribe, leave a comment, click the thumbs up icon. Ryan took time away from his family, his business, his camping, which he loves doing, to be here to help us out and show us. And I know I'm super grateful. Thank you very much. But the rest of you, make sure you show the love. If you're listening on any other platform than YouTube, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you leave us a great review. Make sure you tell everybody you know about the Fighting Entrepreneur. Make sure you binge us at anikpodcast.com. And of course, join us inside of our amazing entrepreneurial community at Lurn, Lurn.com. This is Anik Singal reminding you, when life pushes you, what do? Stand straight, smile, and push it the heck back. Come on, fighting entrepreneurs. Go out there, fight for your dreams. This is Anik, and I'll see you on the next one.
Thanks for listening to The Fighting Entrepreneur with your host, Anik Singal.